A little later, Ren's plan was in motion. As the survivors filed out one by one, he discreetly used his appraisal skill to check their abilities. Most of them had no notable skills, but one person stood out, a young girl with a skill called cloning. The description read: Skill, Cloning, B rank. Description: allows the user to create clones of objects or living beings. The number and duration of clones depend on the user's strength. Ren's eyes widened slightly. This could be useful. As the girl passed by, he stretched out his hand and whispered, "Copy." A notification appeared in his mind. Skill acquired, Cloning, B rank. Attempts remaining, 3/10. Ren let the girl go, his mind racing. With 3 survivors left, he was certain the enemy was among them. As the next person, a woman, stepped forward, Ren activated his appraisal again. What he saw made his blood run cold. Name: unknown. Skills: Fireball, A rank, a powerful fire-based attack. Inferno Blast, A rank, a devastating area of effect fire skill. Ren's eyes widened, and Shirin, who had been watching closely, noticed his reaction. The woman, however, also caught Ren's expression. She stopped in her tracks, her gaze locking onto his. "You noticed, huh?" she said softly, her voice cold and menacing. "Still, it's best to let me go. There are 2 other weak humans behind me who could get hurt." Ren hesitated. She was right, the remaining survivors were still in danger. But at the same time, this woman might have something to do with the dragon. He was about to attack anyway when Shirin suddenly appeared, moving like a bolt of lightning. "You seemed tense," Shirin said, delivering a precise strike to the woman's temple. She crumpled to the ground, unconscious. "I guess she's who we're looking for." Ren nodded, his heart still racing. "Yes, she just might be." Claire, who had been keeping an eye on the remaining survivors, rushed over. Ren quickly checked the last 2 people, ensuring they weren't a threat. Once they were safely out of the ice barrier, he turned his attention to the unconscious woman. "She should be knocked out for a while," Shirin said, crouching beside her. "Let's tie her up and figure out what's going on." But before they could act, the woman's body began to twitch. Her eyes snapped open, glowing with an unnatural light. She started laughing, a deep, guttural sound that sent chills down their spines. "You disgusting humans dare lay a hand on me!" she snarled, her voice echoing with power. Her body began to transform, her limbs elongating, her skin turning into scales, and her form growing larger and larger. The trio stared in shock as the woman transformed into the massive red dragon they had been hunting. The ice barrier shattered as the dragon's wings unfurled, and the ground trembled under its weight. "Run!" Ren shouted, grabbing Claire's arm and activating his stealth speed. Shirin followed close behind, his lightning crackling as he prepared for the fight of their lives. The trio had barely managed to retreat to a safe distance when the massive red dragon roared, its fiery breath illuminating the night sky. The creature's eyes burned with rage, and its massive wings spread wide, casting a shadow over the scorched village. It was clear the dragon wasn't going to let them escape without a fight. Shirin, ever the impulsive fighter, didn't waste a second. "Not so fast!" he shouted, his body crackling with lightning as he charged at the dragon. He moved like a bolt of energy, aiming a powerful strike at the dragon's chest. But the dragon was faster than it looked. With a swift motion of its tail, it knocked Shirin away, sending him crashing into the rubble of a nearby building. Claire's eyes narrowed as she watched Shirin go down. "You're going to pay for that," she muttered, her voice cold with anger. She raised her hands, summoning dark energy that coiled around the dragon like chains. "Dark binding!" she shouted, restraining the dragon momentarily. With the dragon immobilized, Claire unleashed her next attack. "Ice Spike Barrage!" she yelled, summoning a storm of razor-sharp ice spikes that rained down on the dragon. The spikes struck its scales, causing the creature to roar in pain. Ren wasn't about to sit back and watch. Using his fire mastery skill, he propelled himself forward with a burst of flame, closing the distance between him and the dragon in an instant. He drew back his fist, channeling all his strength into a single, devastating punch. The blow landed squarely on the dragon's chin, the impact reverberating through the air. The dragon staggered, its massive head snapping back from the force of the strike. It roared in pain, its eyes blazing with fury. But Ren's attack had only made it angrier. Shirin, recovering from the dragon's earlier attack, saw his chance. He transformed into a bolt of lightning, streaking toward the dragon with blinding speed. The lightning struck the dragon's side, causing it to roar in agony and stumble backward. But the dragon wasn't done yet. In a fit of rage, it unleashed its inferno blast, a massive explosion of fire that engulfed the entire area. The trio had no time to react. The blast hit them head-on, sending them flying and leaving them badly burned. As the smoke cleared, Ren struggled to his feet, his body battered and bruised. He could see the dragon preparing another attack, its mouth glowing with fiery energy. Ren knew they couldn't survive another blast. He had to end this now. Summoning every ounce of strength he had left, Ren raised his hand to the sky. He remembered the king's devastating skill, Almighty Thunder, which he had secretly copied during their discussion at the guild. It was a risky move, he wasn't sure if his body could handle the strain, but he had no other choice. Almighty Thunder! Ren shouted, his voice echoing with power. A massive bolt of lightning shot down from the sky, striking the dragon with unimaginable force. The creature let out a final, ear-splitting roar before collapsing to the ground, its body lifeless. The strain of using Almighty Thunder was too much for Ren's body to handle. As the dragon fell, Ren's vision blurred, and he collapsed to the ground, unconscious. The last thing he heard was Claire shouting his name and Shirin rushing to his side. Ren's eyes fluttered open, but the sight before him wasn't the familiar ceiling of an inn or the sterile walls of a healer's room. Instead, he found himself in a vast, ethereal space, a place he recognized all too well. The ground shimmered like liquid gold, and the sky above swirled with vibrant colors. He was back in the goddess's realm. Back so soon? A familiar voice called from behind him. Ren turned to see the goddess standing there, her silver hair cascading like starlight and her eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. She looked as beautiful and enigmatic as ever, but there was a hint of amusement in her expression. "Am I dead again?" Ren asked, his voice hoarse. The goddess chuckled. "No, you're not dead. You've just been unconscious for about a week now. You should probably wake up soon. But since you've graciously decided to visit me after letting my artifact get stolen, let's have a little chat." Ren blinked, confused. Artifact? What artifact? The goddess crossed her arms, her expression turning stern. "The orb I gave you when you first arrived in my world. It wasn't just a guide, it was a powerful artifact containing vast knowledge about the world. So powerful, in fact, that I once had to send someone to remove it from the mortal realm because it was causing too much chaos." Ren's eyes widened. Wait, that orb was that important? Why would you give something so dangerous to a newbie like me? The goddess threw her hands up in exasperation. "To help you understand how the world operates and how to thrive in it. I didn't think you'd let it get stolen by a bunny girl assassin." Ren winced. "I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was that valuable. I'll find it and get it back." The goddess sighed, her expression softening. "Don't worry, I already got it back. That bunny girl, Lyra, was it. Used it to build a massive organization and grow in power. She wasn't fully evil, but I felt she was getting too powerful, so I took back my orb." Ren cursed under his breath. So that's what she took from me, he thought. He had been wondering what Lyra had stolen, and now he knew. He wouldn't be getting the orb back, but at least it was out of Lyra's hands. The goddess waved her hand dismissively. Anyway, I feel like you've been here too long. It's time for you to wake up. Goodbye, Ren. Before Ren could respond, the world around him dissolved into light. He felt himself being pulled back, the goddess's realm fading away as consciousness returned. Ren's eyes fluttered open again, but this time, he was back in the mortal world. The first thing he noticed was the soft warmth of sunlight streaming through a window. The second thing he noticed was the weight of someone's head resting on the edge of his bed. He turned his head slightly and saw a beautiful girl sitting beside him, her head resting on the bed as she slept. It was Princess Alana. Her long hair spilled over the sheets, and her face was peaceful, though there were faint shadows under her eyes, as if she hadn't slept well in days. Ren's heart softened at the sight. She had stayed by his side while he was unconscious. He wanted to say something, to thank her, but his throat was dry, and his body still felt weak. Instead, he simply watched her, a small smile tugging at his lips. Ren lay back gently, not wanting to wake the princess, but his stomach had other plans. A loud grumble echoed through the room, and Princess Alana stirred, her eyes fluttering open. At first, she thought the sound had come from her own stomach, but she quickly realized it was Ren's. She sat up, her cheeks flushing slightly as she called for a servant. "Bring the best dishes for our guest," she instructed, her voice warm but firm. "He's been unconscious for a week. He must be starving." Ren smiled weakly, his voice hoarse as he greeted her. "Thank you, Princess." Alana returned his smile, though there was a hint of sadness in her eyes. "Every time I've wanted to thank you properly, something has gotten in the way. So this time, I waited for you to wake up." Ren tilted his head, confused. "Thank me? For what?" "For saving me that night," she said, her voice soft but sincere. "If it weren't for you, I might not be here right now. I owe you my life, Ren." Ren's heart swelled with gratitude, but before he could respond, a maid entered the room, carrying a tray laden with the finest dishes the castle had to offer. The princess stood, giving Ren a small nod before leaving the room. "I'll let you eat in peace. We'll talk more later." As soon as the door closed, Ren's hunger took over. He devoured the food with the enthusiasm of someone who hadn't eaten in days. The maid, who had stayed to assist him, watched in mild shock as he finished the entire serving in record time. "Would you like another serving?" she asked, her tone a mix of amusement and disbelief. Ren nodded eagerly. "Yes, please." As the maid left to fetch more food, Ren remembered Shirin and Claire, the two adventurers who had fought alongside him. He called the maid back and asked, what happened to the other two adventurers? "Are they okay?" The maid smiled. "They've already recovered. In fact, they were the ones who brought you back to the capital. They've been checking on you regularly." Ren sighed in relief. "Thank you for letting me know." The following day, Ren made his way to the guild, feeling stronger and more energized than he had in weeks. As soon as he walked through the doors, the entire guild erupted into applause. The guild master stepped forward, a proud smile on his face. "Ren," he said, his voice booming, "for your heroic actions in defeating the Red Dragon, you've been promoted to S-rank adventurer. This is a rare honor, and one you've earned through your bravery and strength." Ren's eyes widened. S-rank. That was the highest rank an adventurer could achieve. He glanced around and saw Shirin and Claire standing nearby, their own S-rank badges gleaming on their chests. They nodded at him, their expressions a mix of respect and camaraderie. The guild master then called Ren aside, presenting him with a special reward. "This," he said, holding up a sleek, black battle suit and a finely crafted sword, "is made from the remains of the dragon you defeated. It's lightweight, durable, and imbued with the dragon's essence. It will serve you well in your future battles." Before Ren could thank him, the doors of the guild burst open, and King Aaron strode in, his presence commanding the attention of everyone in the room. I heard you were being rewarded, the king said, his voice carrying a hint of amusement. I couldn't let the guild master have all the fun. The king handed Ren a skill book. This is a rare item, he explained. It can only be used once, and it will teach you the skill wind mastery. Consider it a token of my gratitude for saving my daughter, and for protecting this kingdom. Ren took the book, his hands trembling slightly. Thank you, your majesty. The king then handed him a pristine Reshire kingdom emblem. This emblem signifies that you are under the protection of the kingdom. Show it to anyone who dares question your worth, and they will think twice before crossing you. The guild master, sensing the moment, asked Ren, what are you planning to do next? Ren thought for a moment before replying, I want to keep traveling and getting stronger. There's still so much I need to learn and experience. The king clapped him on the shoulder, his laughter filling the room. That's the spirit. Never stop training. Though, if you ever want to stay and spar with me daily, you're always welcome. Ren chuckled. Hell has better chances of freezing over. The king roared with laughter, and even the guild master couldn't help but smile. It was clear that Ren had earned not just their respect, but their friendship as well.